Hello, you crazy bunch of people. Or should I say, all us deplorables. Big win for us. Anyway, you guys are going to shoot me for putting so much effort into something, but I want this thing to look really good when I get done. I'm working on the parking brake cable. I just replaced the front one, and I got to the intermediate. Well, the problem is, this is a half-breed truck. This is a 1984 F350 frame. Everything from the engine down is 84. Everything from the body up is a 93. So they was building this truck for a pulling truck. They put 12 leaves in the back instead of your standard, what is it, 5 or 6. So, you know, the thing's pretty beefed up. 4-wheel drive, and it's pretty stout. So, you know, for me to have a machine shop, that truck works perfect because I could never get rid of either one. So the truck has to work too, but I want it to look good at the same time that it's working. So I went to, for the last 2 days, I've been looking for the right intermediate cable. Well, the shortest one they had was 57 and some odd inches. And I need 3 inches shorter than that. So I've decided to do this and be artistic at the same time. Or autistic. So I'm going to show you what we got going on here. I'm going to pan you down here so you can see. Well, first let me show you what I got going on here. I've got a spring hooked to that, to the cable, all the way up to the adapter that they give with it, and with a hanger and a bungee cord around the thing to keep it over here, over top of the board, clear over to my vise. Man, when we make contraptions, we make contraptions. And don't forget, we got the coffee. I ain't smoking, so I gotta have something. So let's put you back up here. Alright, let's imagine that this wood is the frame, my frame. Alright, we've got 57 inches from here to the other end of that cable. So what we want to do is we're going to take these little wheels that I got that came off of a Royal vacuum cleaner, and a real nice neoprene. I mean, it's Delron or whatever you want to call it, but it's pretty solid. I mean, if it's can be used for crashing around on concrete floors and all different kinds of floors, and them last that kind of a treatment, I'm pretty sure it can act as a pulley. So what we're going to do is we've picked ourselves a bolt that fit in it, and we're going to have to make brackets for this. And we're going to position them wheels in a way. Now, we want to be on the bottom of the front one because the front one is higher on the frame, and the one on the back is lower on the frame, so that works out pretty good. So we're going to have to position these in this position: the back one on top, the front one on the bottom, and that will bring it to as if you was pulling it straight. Alright, and what we're going to do is we've got to, actually that spring's not going to work. I got spring on both sides of that. What I need is a board that's longer, and since I need 3 inches less, this is the idea of what we're going to do. If I can get 3 inches less, I need a 3 inches less cable. But because I don't want to take these here nipples off, because they're put on there with a tool and is rated for a certain amount of poundage that it needs. When you go messing with that, you don't know if you're going to get the poundage back in it of a squeeze on anything you put on there. So rather than just mess with stock, you know, it looks good, it doesn't look like it's broke, rusted or nothing. It looks good and it works perfect. So why rock the boat when all you have to do is just change the contour up to 3 inches. So the tighter you get this, the less, let's say that side is hooked solid with no spring, and this side had a spring on it. You would do this, you'd put a mark right here. Let's say, let me just go on and do that. You would put a mark right here, and we're probably doing this for nothing, but I just kind of want to give you the idea of how I'm figuring this in my head. Let's say we wanted to go 3 inches. We want that cable to be 3 inches less. Alright, there's the part that you need out of this cable. We're going to cut 3 inches out of that cable, and we're not going to cut the cable. So if that side was held solid with no spring, when this side sprung, the tighter you get this, the closer this will get to this mark. And once you reach that mark, that's how much distance you need. Then once you've figured that out, you also got to figure out how far it is away from the frame, because it's actually kind of straight with my frame. It just goes nice in a straight line, I think. I'm pretty sure. So that works in my favor. I don't have to do a bunch of angle in my pulleys. Alright, now once I've got the cable location and where I want this, I need to mark where that groove is going to be for this to ride into. And we're going to take and lathe a groove into that just to where the cable is even with the top edge of the wheel, so that it always stays in that groove. You don't want it too deep, then you'll be causing another problem. And you got to make sure your alignment's right, so you may have to space something. But we're going to make this to just like that, and it'll probably look something like that right there. But that's the idea of how I'm going to make that shorter. So these two pulleys, well, put in a certain way, can make this cable 3 inches less. Everybody probably already knew that, but I just wanted to demonstrate how it was looking in my mind. Basically what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make these up, because I think I'm going to just make them where they'll mount on separately with 4 little 1/4 screws. And what we're going to do is we're going to make them square plate, and I'll show you what I've got going on here. I needed something that was bigger than this was round, so that I could mount this to it and drill me 4 holes on each corner as a mounting bracket to mount it up to the frame. So here's what we got going on. I've got this in the bandsaw, and basically I want to cut that at that angle, or cut that in half right there. So I've got it set up, and I put this in to keep it from wanting to shift off square. And it's probably not perfect, but that's okay. I just want to get close enough to where when I put it in the 4-jaw chuck to face it off, I don't have so much to worry about. And who knows, I'm going to try them before I even take and lathe it, because I might accidentally get the same angle as the frame. I might need to twist one of them pulleys in a certain angle. Maybe if I did leave it that way, I could adjust the angle of the pulley. Hey, that's a good idea. Hey, I'm a-thinking now, ain't I? And this is flat down on it. I put this on the back for an extension of the back jaw. Basically, it just comes almost to where it's going to be cutting. And to hold that square in there, I had to put this piece in there, and then this one to compensate for all this. So we've got it tight. It ain't going to move, we hope. So we're going to try to cut this as soon as I get the pad here, so that the camera doesn't vibrate so much. Alright, so while we're waiting for the aluminum to cut, I thought maybe I would just go ahead and show you about what I got going on here. If you look, this is at 0 inches, and this is at 3 inches. So we want this to be where this is at. So it's pretty simple. You just take your wheels and you put them in a position that makes that go away. Now I'm at 3 inches. And I'm at the angle I want. Because remember, the front cable is up closer to the top of the frame, and the two rear cables that goes to the left and right are pretty low on the frame. They're not exactly the same. So that offset is going to actually make it run a whole lot straighter too. So it's going to be like from here to here, it's going to be like one solid piece. And a groove in it. We can't figure out where a groove is until we get it all mounted to the truck, cable in place where it's going to be, and then figure out where we're going to put the first one at 3 inches. So we'll just pick them happy medium, adjust it however we want, and then just pick one of them, and then let the other one go, and mark this one on the frame, and then we'll drill it, and put these on it in place. Got a brain fart there for a minute, and then once I've got that one mounted, I ain't got to hold that one no more. Then I'll just come in with the second one And remember, we're back at 0. And then I'll just adjust that until it comes to 3 inches. And then that's where I'll put that one. Once I figure out where I'm going to put them, then I'm going to come back another 1/2 inch. The reason I want to go 1/2 inch is because then I have to make my grooves. So that's going to make this less. So it will start coming back. And it don't take much to get a 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to go 1/2 inch further than I wouldn't even be afraid to go 1 inch when we get out to the truck. So I guess that's our next step. Part 2, because I'm going to do a part 2 on this one. This is the idea. The next one is actually putting it in or figuring it out. You guys have a good one. Later.